Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am Caitlin V3 and today I have a project for you. I'm doing it outside and I suggest you do the same or in a place that's easily cleaned just because it can get a little messy. But let me show you what we're going to do. So you're going to need a few things. A pad of paper for notes. A computer that's missing a Psu shroud, like this one. Spray paint, if you want to spray paint. A knife. Is this called X-Acto knife? No. Paper or something to paint on top of. Acrylic or something of the sort. And some type of measuring device, like a ruler. Let's begin. I probably could not have chosen a worse angle, but this is where we're at. If we want to make a Psu shroud, for this case, we have to measure, of course. We measure from the inside to just before the edge of the case side panel, and then the height. And then we combine those two. And then we also have to measure how long we want it. So this power supply, for example, is probably about 5.5 inches long, so I'm going to make it extend a tad bit more. So we take those few dimensions and we put them down on our paper. 8 by 6.5. I don't even know why I wrote it down, it's kind of pointless. So then we take our acrylic. You can buy these in all different sheet sizes. So I have to protect myself. This is not that type of channel. So we have 8. And then we're doing it 6.5. Okay, so now we have our measurements, or our straight lines. Now, you cannot see at all. Now we have our lines. I'm gonna put this piece of acrylic under this one just so I don't scratch the tile. Now we get our razor blade. I am just not helping myself here, am I? Super easy, so we just take it right across the line. Actually, for the first few, I'm going to use a straight edge. And this is why I recommend doing it outside, because it's going to give tiny strands of plastic everywhere. You have a ball in your mouth. And you're just gonna keep doing that until you get about I think it's like 1/8 of an inch indent. Excuse me. Once you think you get it enough, this might not be enough. Literally you just snap it and it does that so perfectly. Like literally the most perfect, straightest line. And then take that off and then let's see this side. And then we'll take this side and snap. Perfect. And now we have our perfectly shaped piece of acrylic that we can now bend with a heat gun. So now I know that the height of the power supply is about 3.5 inches. So I'm going to figure out where that is on here. So it's about this way. So I'm going to take like a heavy straight box and I'm going to align it where I want it. And then I'm going to take my heat gun, do down here. So what I want to do is do this on the bottom of the shroud, so that way if there are any bubbles, you won't see it through the paint. So what I'm going to do is fold this up and push it against the box to create like that flat line. Well, semi-flat line. I do recommend using like, this is a box. This might not be the best idea. Hopefully it doesn't like catch fire. And just keep moving it so that you're not focused on one spot. If you get it too hot, you will get bubbles. And you can feel it. I'm gonna turn it up. And then once it gets hot enough, just fold it up against the box, and then I'm actually gonna take it away once we have that like straight line and just fold it a little bit closer and then just slowly bring it back. And obviously you wanna get that 90-degree angle. And of course you can kind of fix it a little bit as you go, but honestly that was pretty decent for just using like a box. I would obviously recommend not using something paper or flammable, but as you can see, we were okay, and this created like a perfect straight line. So let's go put it in the computer and see how it looks. So now we have our case and our power supply shroud, and I mean, that fits pretty perfectly. So now let's go ahead and paint it. So obviously this is to protect the tile. And I'm gonna actually paint this on the underside of the shroud because I have an idea, which you'll see soon. So I'm going to paint it like this. Plus I kind of like how it looks with the plastic non-painted and then the paint underneath. You'll see how it looks, what I mean. I'm not too worried about the coverage with this. Some people use like a primer first and then put spray paint. I am not looking for 100% full coverage. This is kind of just a base, so this will work fine for me. But if you want to primer you first, you can. Although I've used the spray paint with the primer color together all in one, and those seem to work fine too. And because it's angled, I usually do the bottom. I'm gonna let that dry a little bit, and then I'll flip it and then do the top. Just otherwise you're gonna have bubbles, or not bubbles, you're gonna have the paint kind of rolling down and it'll look bad. Alright, we'll let that dry. We have the finished power supply shroud, homemade, DIY. Took me like less than 10 minutes, with drying time like an hour probably to let everything dry. But as you can see, we are good to go. Let's pop it in there and see what it looks like. Beautiful. So obviously you can make your own power supply shrouds depending on your case design, color, scheme, anything you want. Sky's the limit. Super cheap to do. The whole project maybe costs $20, $30 depending on how much you spend on the acrylic sheet, how big of a sheet you actually get. But between the acrylic sheet, the razor blade, if you have a heat gun, that's helpful. Of course that's going to add to your cost if you don't, and some spray paint. That's it. Pretty happy with it. And of course, you know I'm not gonna leave it just like this. There's something coming with this, so stay tuned. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed, then go ahead and subscribe. I have new videos every day lately with all the different types of tech things, gaming things, and PC building things, about how to customize your builds and just builds in general. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you again next time. You are an indoor kitty. What? We have an escapee.